Okay, everyone. We're going to do a reaction here to the latest shooting that's happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota. 37-year-old man. Let me uh, let me get his name here. Alex Preddy. I think that's how you pronounce his last name, but um, yeah, dealing with the immigration officers. They shot several times at him as well. After going over, it looked like they were trying to apprehend him. Apparently, they pulled a gun off of him, and a lot of people are definitely, on the side of this being unjustified as far as him being shot. Man, this is like the third or fourth shooting that's happened within this city since ISIS been there, and of course, people are still out protesting and obstructing and getting in the way of ICE doing their job, which is going to make it even more difficult and, really bring tensions even higher than they are. Tensions are super high because people have been protesting day and night, for the longest in this area. You see protests all over the country starting to pop up and things like that, but, you know, it's just a whole lot that kind of goes into this. For one, they pulled the gun off the guy, which I'll have to see, why, they would still, open fire on him and stuff like that. Um, it's just it's just a lot of questions that you start having here. Of course, we understand what the goal is of the ICE agents and what they've been sent there to do. But it just complicates things more when it's people that are there trying to get them to leave and knowing they're not going to leave. They're going to stay there and continue to do what they're supposed to do. So it's just strange that people are really trying to be martyrs here in this whole situation and put themselves in a position to where they could lose their life, and people will talk about them now and forget them in a year or so. Very very sad.
What in
Mm.
the is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Get back! No! Get back! No! Get back! Oh my God! Get back! You are so evil! Shut up! What? Shut up! What? Shut up, Caleb! Stop! Stop talking! They have just shot a man! They shot that guy! I know! Oh my God! They have shot a man! They have shot a legal observer! Call 911. Call 911.
They just shot somebody. They just shot somebody.
Call 911.
I'm calling 911.
Come here. I know. I know. I know. I know. I know. We keep each other safe, so. Okay, let's keep some space and then keep some space. You need to sit down. Sit down.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Okay, okay, okay. Stay safe. Caleb, get back.
I'm calling 911.
Okay.
In my opinion, man, I feel like ICE would have been out of there if they wasn't being impeded by protesters and stuff like that. That's just the whole thing to this. It's sad, but
Chaos on the streets of Minneapolis today. This video showing a confrontation with federal agents escalating into a new deadly shooting, reigniting tensions in a city already on edge. The video capturing multiple gunshots being fired.
and the fact that he just emptied the clip into him, I'm sure like one or two rounds would have done the deal,
Being fired.
or at least been able to subdue him to where they could detain him. And it looks like they had already been punching on him and stuff like that.
The video capturing
And it's way more of them than it is of him.
multiple gunshots being fired.
My thing is, why you put yourself in this position, man? That's what I just want to know. What is the need to put yourself knee deep into this position? And from looking at the guy, He wasn't anyone who they would actually be targeting as far as what their job there to do. He doesn't fit the bill or the description of anyone that they would be targeting. And then you have to ask yourself, if they were targeting you and stuff like that, would people that like in the if the shoes were opposite, would those people be out there protesting and impeding law enforcement for you? And I don't think they would.
The video capturing multiple gunshots being fired.
Yeah, I feel like that was definitely overkill, but I haven't went through any type of law enforcement training, so I'm pretty sure they're definitely instructed to unload their clip, but in my opinion, that was definitely overkill.
This video showing the moment from another angle.
Oh, what the? They killed my.
This video showing the moment from another angle.
Oh, what the?
Yeah, he was already dead when he got struck that second time, but they proceeded to unload. That one ICE agent proceeded to unload.
They killed my. Did they kill that guy? Are you kidding me, dude?
Pushing in on the video lets you see the man being taken to the ground, agents surrounding him and striking blows, until this moment, when the first shot is fired, immediately followed by several more. The Department of Homeland Security saying the man who was shot approached Border Patrol officers armed with this semi-automatic handgun.
There you go. You're approaching officers. Like you're approaching. And I don't know what you think you're going to accomplish here. They have direct orders to be here. So you as a citizen with a gun on you think that you're going to approach these officers, these ICE agents, and get anything across. To me, it's pure stupidity. Why even put yourself in that situation? Why think you anything you're gonna say at that moment is gonna get them to just get into their cars and just get on out of Dodge? I just don't even understand that.
Officers armed with this semi-automatic handgun and violently resisted attempts to disarm him. The agents, according to DHS, were conducting a targeted operation.
And they have targeted operations that they're trying to handle. So, and the more that these type of things go on, the more unsafe it is going to be for the citizens. Let's see here. So the Trump administration is defending the shooting.
President Trump tonight slamming Minnesota's governor and the mayor of Minneapolis, accusing them of inciting insurrection with their rhetoric, while writing, "Let our ICE patriots do their job." Attorney General Pam Bondi not ruling out that the president could invoke the Insurrection Act.
I'm never going to get ahead of the president. This is a very fluid situation right now.
It's a rarely used 19th century law, giving the president power to deploy active duty troops in the U.S. for law enforcement purposes, and a threat the president appeared to recently back down from.
I don't think there's any reason right now to use it, but if I needed it, I'd use it. It's very powerful.
The Attorney General says federal agencies like the FBI, DEA, and ATF are heading to Minneapolis to back up Homeland Security operations on the ground, with DHS Secretary Kristi Noem blaming local leaders.
Governor Walz and Mayor Fry, they instead choose violence. They instead choose to encourage the destruction of their city and the crime against their people. I'm asking for all the authorities in Minneapolis and the leaders to work with us.
White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller claimed, without providing evidence, that the man who was killed was a domestic terrorist, a label he also used for Renee Good, who was shot and killed by an ICE officer earlier this month. In the wake of
No, they'll throw that wording on you. They'll definitely throw that domestic terrorist on you, And from what I hear, there's a judge who put some type of ruling in that prevent the administration, the Trump administration, from like trying to hide evidence in this whole case or anything like that. So, oh man, so Just horrible, really, because they'll find a way to definitely justify this type of stuff. The guy obviously had a loaded gun on him, and he approached the ICE agents who were there doing a targeted operation. And with Renee Good, the car is the weapon in question that was used. And of course, in the back, with everyone's commentary, it's like, okay, why not shoot out the tires and stuff like that? But in the heat of that moment, that split second, you're not thinking about shooting no tires. You're thinking about neutralizing the threat. And that's what people are not really getting, or not even trying to comprehend. The whole thing is, man, stop putting yourselves in these positions. You can protest, do your protesting, do it from afar. But what people are doing is literally running up on these agents, and I just don't get what they feel like they're going to accomplish by just running up into the face of a federal agent who clearly has backup, clearly has, weapons and all that type of stuff, and they clearly are being told to be there. Like, it's the most stupidest thing you can do. It's just like running up on a police officer, running up on a service member of our military. It's just real dumb to do that. And if anybody is enticing y'all or encouraging y'all or influencing y'all to do that, you should not listen to them. You should think more so about your own life and making sure you can keep your life by not running up on these agents. Do not go and try to get into these agents' face. You ain't doing nothing but cussing and saying a bunch of stuff that doesn't really matter to them. You are not their boss. You are just a citizen of the United States. The way that you make impact is in the voting booth. Putting leaders in place who can, do certain things to, curb the reasons why they are there in the first place. But you just going out on a vigilante mission, thinking that you're going to walk up on these agents, have loaded guns. Now you get their attention. Now they're trying to detain you, and now you're trying to get them not to detain you. So you're giving them a struggle. Like, they've been hearing whistles all day, and it's not making any excuses for these agents, but I put myself in the shoes of both sides. On one side, I'm never going to put myself in a position to where I'm going to be in a situation where they're trying to gang up on me, detain me. I have a loaded gun on me, and I'm giving them a struggle, and I'm gonna end up shot dead right there in the streets. Like, none of that makes any type of sense to me. And then for those ICE agents, they're out there trying to do a job that they've been told to do. They signed on to do this job, so they have a boss. Their boss has told them to go and do this job. So they're trying to go and do this job, but you have people getting in their way, obstructing what they're trying to do, blowing whistles, cussing at them, throwing stuff at them. Imagine you going to work, and imagine you have a certain test that you have to do, but it's people that come up to you every second or every minute of you working, distracting you, getting in your way. Just being an obstacle between you and the task or the job that you have to do. You will never get your job done. So, I'm super sympathetic for these people, but I just feel like these people are being brainwashed to put themselves in a position of being in danger. And nothing that you guys are doing, all the protesting that you have done thus far, now more federal agents and more federal departments are coming into your city now. And y'all just don't get it. Like, how many more people are going to put themselves in a position to where they're going to be shot or killed before you realize, let's just get out their way, let them do their job so they can get up out of our city. Because that's the only way that it's going to go. And then again, y'all keep pushing, You don't even understand that there is an insurrection act where the president can order, actual military troops to come in and do the law enforcement in that city. And then now you'll be starting to see tanks and armored vehicles and people with, machine guns and, you know, y'all not ready for that type of stuff. They're literally tear gassing you guys and pepper spraying you guys now because you guys just won't listen. You just won't go home or just back up and just let them do their job so they can get out the way. You want to put your cars in their way. You want to stand in their way. You want to sit there and yell and create lines and all this type of stuff. Which I get it, man. Everyone has a right to protest, but a lot of these protests aren't peaceful protests. Like people are really going a step over peaceful protesting, especially when you start approaching these people, just trying to get up in their face and talk junk and stuff like that. Again, it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen, and you put yourself in that position or that situation to where, they could use force against you, you know. Because at the end of the day, these are not robots, these are human beings themselves. Of course, they're going to make mistakes, but they are human beings. So, you're not going to let too many human beings just come up in your face spitting and cussing at you before you actually do something. But, everybody want to see it that way. But, if you guys think all this protesting and doing all this type of stuff is going to get these ICE agents out of your city quicker, you're just lying to yourselves. And I really think y'all kind of just doing it now for just the attention that it's bringing, but you're not gonna get anywhere with doing that. You're just really losing lives, and a lot more lives will get lost if if y'all decide to just gang up on these guys, because as you see, they're sending in more and more agents. So, um,
That shooting, a New York Times Siena poll out this week finding 63% disapprove of ICE's job performance, with 61% saying ICE tactics have gone too.
and of course, look. So out of all these registered voters, this is about 1,600 registered voters. Where's the poll as far as the people who are protesting? You disapprove of ICE's job performance. I feel like they're doing the best they could do given the circumstances that they're under. I mean, it's snow, it's cold, it's ice everywhere. And again, you guys feel like as citizens, man, y'all can just go out there and impede on them doing their job. If you get out the way, they'll get up out your city. It's as simple as that. And I feel like it's just being dragged along because you guys stay out there and continue to protest and put yourself in harm's way.
Too far.
Monica joins me now from the White House. And Monica, the shooting may be putting government funding in question?
Yes, a sweeping package passed the House recently, but now it needs to go to the Senate, where several key Democrats have signaled they'll vote against DHS funding unless restrictions are put on immigration enforcement operations. Jose?
We thank you.
And we know that it's going to be Democrats who are going to try to vote against that. Because again, man, if you kind of just dig down deep into the root of everything, you have people who are over here illegally. They're getting signed up and registered to vote through fraudulent means, and these are the people that's going to vote for these people. So, at the end of the day, man, it's just a lot of bloodshed over. At the end of the day, just they want to have a certain demographic of people that's going to vote for them. Not necessarily because they want to make sure that, people who are supposed to be here in America are here in America legally. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, man. Let me know what y'all think about this new shooting in the comments. Um, I feel like it was overkill. Uh, I seen a clip on CNN where they actually took the gun from him, and then that's when all the shots started ringing out. But again, my whole stance is people shouldn't even put themselves in this type of situation. Get out the way, let them do their job so they can get up out your city. You know, it's as simple as that. You may not agree with what they're doing, but they do not answer to you. And even though we are taxpayers and we pay all this and that and the third, they still answer to the president. or they're the director of Homeland Security. You know, that's these are the people who they answer to. You know, we give our votes, we give our taxpayer money, but at the end of the day, you know, the way everything is set up, we're not gonna call any shots out there screaming and blowing whistles. So, you know, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, and you know, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Again, this is Justin Paul. Peace.